Black Widow, the long-awaited standalone Marvel movie starring Scarlett Johansson, is finally here. It was long overdue even before it got delayed, and I would just like to add that I'm very happy to be alive. This whole nightmare is almost over, so if you could... Sorry. Curtain rods. Nope. I'm sorry. These guys have been calling me all week. I don't know who they are, but frankly, it's starting to get a little annoying. So, I'm sorry. Back to the show. So this story takes place right after Captain America's Civil War. Natasha Romanoff is now a fugitive from S.H.I.E.L.D. and on the run from General Ross. And after expertly evading Ross, she hides out in a cabin in the woods in Norway. But shortly after she arrives, she receives a package sent by someone from her past. And from there, things start to escalate. There are some things I absolutely loved about this movie and some things not so much. And I am gonna talk about these things in detail, so if you haven't seen Black Widow yet, this is your spoiler warning. The movie opens with a flashback to 1995, where young Natasha and her so-called family are stationed as Russian spies in Ohio. Very much like the show The Americans. Nat has a younger sister, Yelena, a mom, and a dad. We later learn that they are in fact not related at all, and they were posing as a family for only 3 years. But for young Natasha and Yelena, who never had a family, these 3 years pretending to be a family meant the world. This surrogate family is the backbone of this movie, with the relationship between Nat and her sister Yelena at its core. And this is also the best part of the movie in my opinion, because the interaction between these people is just fantastic, especially between Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh. Yelena is just as skilled as Natasha and also trained as a widow, and there are some great sisterly moments between them. Sometimes it's sweet, they have really good chemistry, but they bicker as well. There's this great moment when she calls out Nat for that superhero pose she does. She even tries it herself at one point, which was really funny, and Pugh is just outstanding in this movie. Zach Braff is one very lucky guy. Natasha's fake parents, Melina and Alexei, are played by Rachel Weisz and David Harbour.
It still fits.
Oh my god.
Melina was a former widow who's now a scientist that does weird brainwashing experiments on pigs, and Alexei used to be the Red Guardian, the only Russian super soldier. I really have a soft spot for Harbour, and he stood out in this movie. He gets some of the more funnier lines in the film, and he delivers them really well. Alexei sees himself as the Russian Captain America, even though he's the complete opposite of Steve Rogers in every single way. He's fat, he's brutish, kinda gross, not very clever, but he does have a soft side, especially when it comes to his surrogate daughters. There are a few moments in the film where he tries to be fatherly and he fails every step of the way. It's adorable and really funny at the same time. I love Harbour in this. But it's not all fun and games. In fact, I would argue that the tone of this movie is a lot more serious than you're used to from Marvel. It's more in the tone of a spy film like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and the body count is pretty high. The plot of the movie revolves around the villain Dreykov, the overseer of the widows, and the infamous Red Room, where widows are trained. Dreykov has found a way to control the minds of the widows and use them as puppets in international warfare. There is a MacGuffin. There are these vials of red dust that serves as some sort of antidote which frees Yelena from being controlled, and with the help of Natasha and their fake parents, they set out to destroy the Red Room and liberate the rest of the widows. We also find out that before Agent Romanoff joined S.H.I.E.L.D., she was on a mission in Budapest. Again, spoilers. So, in order for Natasha to join S.H.I.E.L.D., she had to kill Dreykov by blowing up the building he was in, even though she knew his daughter was in that very same building. And this apparently has always haunted her because, well, how would you feel if you blew up an innocent little girl? Which brings me to my first gripe with this movie. So if you've seen the trailer, you know that Taskmaster is in this movie, right? He's the villain who copies superheroes' fighting styles and uses it against them, and that is all great. But this movie acts all mysterious about who this person really is. It's supposed to be this big reveal. And the truth is, it's very predictable. Because when Nat talks about that mission in Budapest, it is fairly obvious from the start that Taskmaster is Dreykov's daughter. And the way that was telegraphed was kind of a letdown. This movie was mostly written by Jack Schaefer, who also gave us WandaVision, so I expected a little more from him. By the way, I believe the actress who played Taskmaster is Olga Kurylenko. I couldn't tell for sure because her face was all messed up, and I didn't really pay much attention during the end credits. Another gripe I had was that the ending is a little standard. They find the Red Room, free the widows from mind control, Dreykov almost escapes, big explosions, lots of VFX, the end. The 2 acts leading up to that were surprising, very exciting, and by far the best part of the movie. So the final act was, for me anyways, a little anticlimactic. And also, and this is just nitpicking, this is completely personal, but in the opening credits they play a cover song of Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I didn't like that. I'm from Generation X. Don't cover those songs. But apart from all of that, this movie was great. In the end credits scene, we see Yelena visiting Natasha's grave and putting down flowers. And then we hear someone sneeze. The camera turns and it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Madame Hydra herself, who says, "I'm sorry, I'm allergic to the Midwest," which instantly made me laugh. She then tells Yelena that Hawkeye is responsible for Natasha's death. And that was cool, because Florence Pugh is also starring in the Hawkeye series on Disney+. And I wasn't really that interested before, I am now. Black Widow was long overdue, but at least it did the character justice. It isn't an origin story, but rather an epilogue that's set in the past instead of the future. It has a lot of good, strong female characters, a compelling and emotional story about family, and it sets up a few things of what's to come. I'm looking forward to see more of Florence Pugh in the MCU. And even though Black Widow isn't one of my favorite of the Marvel movies, which is a high bar, I still highly recommend watching this. I will say that if you're planning to see this movie on the big screen, just make sure you stay safe. You know, there's a lot of crazy people out there and god damn it. Let's see what they want. Hello?
Who's this?
What do you mean, who's this? You called me.
I said calm down and shut the up. What's the problem?
The problem is that you guys have been calling me all week, and it's starting to get real annoying. I'm in the middle of filming here.
All right, go yourself. That shit has nothing to do with me. All right, I run a legitimate business here.
Yeah, what's that? The business of curtain rods? Kurt and Rod's curtain rods? Which one are you, by the way? Kurt or Rod? What's your name?
What's your name?
Mayhem.
How do I know?
Look, man, you called me, okay? I don't need any curtain rods or whatever it is you're selling.
No, shut up!
Just stop doing that, or I'm gonna call the cops.
Are you threatening me, Dick?
You know what? Go yourself.
Did you just say go myself?
Well, yeah.
That wasn't good! You're dead!
Yikes.